Thank you and namaskar.
So, since it is 6:15, we will now start with our satsang. So, briefly, the program that we are going to follow will be like this. First, we will be doing the prayer, prarthana. Then we will have the Gita shloka and the literal meaning of that shloka. Then we will discuss about that shloka. And we will have a question answer session where whoever wants can ask their questions. And after that, we will offer Kritagnyata and close the satsang. If for some reason we go past the time, like if suppose the meeting ends because 40 minutes are up and we still have not finished the questions, we can rejoin again to take up for the questions which are left unanswered if that situation arises. So we will start for now. Let us do the prarthana. By the Guru's grace and by the will of Sri Krishna, we have all assembled for this Gita Satsang. May we have their guidance to be able to learn and adopt the things which will help us to grow spiritually. So these are some shlokas that we know. All of us know these shlokas. So wherever you are, while being on mute, you can recite, chant along with me these shlokas. Vasudeva sutam devam kamsa chanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. So what this shloka says is that it is a prayer to Lord Krishna. Who is this Lord Krishna? The one who is the beloved son of Vasudeva, the one who killed the great demons like Kamsa and Chanura, and the one who is the source of great joy to Mother Devaki. And this Krishna is the Jagat Guru. He is the spiritual master of the universe. To such a Krishna who has all these attributes, I offer my namaskara. I offer my obeisances. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Klesha Nashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So I offer obeisance, I offer my salutations to Krishna, who is also called Vasudeva, the one who is known as Hari, the Paramatma, and Govinda, the one who destroys all klesha, the one who destroys and removes all sorrows from our life. And then we have to offer obeisance also to Veda Vyasa, because of whose immense grace we have had such a treasure of knowledge given to us. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Dvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. So here we say that we are offering obeisance, we are offering salutations to O Vyasa. What are the qualities of Vyasa? The one who has a mighty intellect, the one who has eyes like the petals of a full-blown lotus tree, and the person who lit the lamp of knowledge filled with the oil of the Mahabharata. So if you say that the Mahabharata is the oil, then the lamp of knowledge that we're talking about is the Bhagavad Geeta. So let us offer our gratitude and salutations to Vyasa for making this knowledge available to us. Since today is the first introductory class, I have explained the meanings of these prayers. From next class onwards, we will be just reciting the shloka. And anyway, I will share this PPT with you in the group so that you can, if you don't know them, then you can memorize those shlokas. So with this, let us go ahead to our topic for today. Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathaaryam Vande Vedanta Deshikan Yo Nityamachyuta Padambuja Yukma Rukma व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. So these are the two invocations that I have offered to the great Acharyas, Swami Vedanta Deshika and Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, who are my gurus. So we will launch now into our topic. Today we are going to see just an introduction of the overall topic that we have taken up. It is very presumptuous of us, especially of me, to say that I will be talking about this, because it is a process of discovery that we are going into together. As I had already expressed before, I am not an expert on this topic. Whatever small, grains of sand equivalent that I know, I am attempting to share that with all of you. So what is it that gives me the courage to be able to attempt this? It is a shloka which, you may have heard, the Gita Dhyanam. There is a shloka which says, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande paramananda madhavam. So the grace of Lord Krishna is so great that he can make even the dumb person, the mute, the person who can't talk, mukam, karoti vachalam. He can make the dumb person also to speak. And pangum langhayate girim, the one who is lame, who cannot walk properly, can even climb up the biggest mountain. How? By the grace of Lord Krishna. So relying on this very grace of the Lord, relying on the grace of my acharyas, that they will bless with whatever is required to be said, we are embarking on this journey. So the Srimad Bhagavad Gita is something that everybody is very familiar with. We have all heard of it, whether we have read from it, whether we have studied it, whether we have understood it is different. But we have all definitely heard of Bhagavad Gita. So it is a part of the Mahabharata, and the Mahabharata is so exalted that it is considered as the fifth Veda, right? We know there are four Vedas, and the Mahabharata, it is said, is like the fifth Veda, because whatever is there to be learned in this world, all of it you will find in the Mahabharata in some form or the other. And if there is something which is not there in the Mahabharata, then that is something which is not there in the world at all. So there are 18, this Bhagavad Gita is like the cream of the Mahabharata. Similarly, it is also said that another very great text which came to us out of the Mahabharata is the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. So both these, the Bhagavad Gita and the Vishnu Sahasranama, together are considered to be the very essence of whatever our Vedas and Upanishads tell. So this Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. It has 700 shlokas. It is one of the texts on which almost all the well-known acharyas, all the great acharyas have written their commentaries. It has been translated into many languages all over the world, and especially this has happened more because of the work of Sri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, who was the founder of ISKCON. He made it, go all over the world in greater proportion. And till today, a text which is so old is still acting as a guiding light for people wherever they are, whichever condition they may be, whichever background they may come from, whatever gender they may be. So for everybody all over the world, this Gita is like a guiding light. Now, who is the person who has spoken this Gita? It is Krishna. And since he is the one who is teaching us here, often Krishna is also called as Gita Charya. And this text that he has given us, this Gita is also referred to as Gitopanishad. It is the Upanishad of the Gita. That means whatever is there in the Upanishad. Now we have heard that there are Vedas. Now whatever is the part of Karma Kanda, what we have to do to attain certain goals, all that is explained in the Vedas. And then what we have to do for our Atmodhara, that is explained in the Upanishads, which is also called as the Vedanta. So whatever is there in the Upanishads, there are many, huge number of Upanishads, out of which I think around 14 are, still available with us. And they are the ones which are most important and often studied. Now, out of all those Upanishads which are there, the teachings, the essence of all that has been distilled and brought together in the Gita. And that is why it is also often called as the Gita Upanishad. So it is said that if we consider that all the Upanishads are like cows, then Gopala, Krishna, right? The one who is the milker of the cows, he is Krishna. Does anybody need to teach Krishna how to milk the cows? He has spent all his life milking cows. And during the Kurukshetra Yuddha, he milked the cow of the Upanishads to give us the milk, the Gitamrita, the nectar of Gita. Who is the calf who was given this milk? It is Partha, Arjuna, because the Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, which is relayed by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra, right? Now, if Partha is the calf, is it whenever a cow gives milk, it is not just the calf that drinks the milk, isn't it? All other people also get the benefit of receiving that milk. So the wise people who are there to receive that milk, they also benefit from this Amrita. Sarvopanishado gavo, dogdha gopala nandanaha, partho vatsah sudhir bhokta, dugdham gitamritam mahat. So this shloka expresses this idea that all the Upanishads, if they are like cows, then Krishna is the milker, Partha is like the calf, and all those who drinks are the wise people. And what is it that we are getting? Gitamritam. So let us be grateful that we have had the opportunity to receive this Amrita in our life. There is another shloka which appears in the Bhishma Parva of the Mahabharata, which expresses the importance of this Gita compared to all the other Shastras. Of course, we are not here in a competitive spirit, to say that, or in a fanatical way to say that this is better than that. Not that way. But what is it? The Gita has everything in it. So, Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyaihi Shastra Vistaraihi Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinisrita. This Gita, this Sugita, what other Shastra, when this Gita is there, what other Shastra do we need beyond this? Why? Because the greatness of this Gita is that it has come from the Mukha Padmam, from the lotus lips, from the lotus mouth of Lord Padmanabha himself, of God, who is called here, addressed here as Padmanabha. We know the word Padma means lotus. Now, everything about the Lord is lotus-like. His eyes are like lotuses. His face is like a lotus. His mouth is like a lotus, right? His navel is having a lotus. His feet are like lotuses. Now, we may have heard of the story of Vamanavatara. We all have heard that episode where the dwarf Vamana got, changed into the form of Trivikrama. He took that huge form, and with his feet, he covered the three worlds. So when that one foot reached Brahmaloka, then Lord Brahma worshipped the feet of one foot of the Lord which came there with water from his Kamandalu. And that water is what came down to us as the Ganga. Now we have given so much importance to Ganga, isn't it? People from all over flock to have one dip in the Ganga because it is said that it will purify all our sins. This Ganga, where did she come from? She came from the feet of the Lord. So if the Ganga which came from the feet of the Lord has so much power to purify us, then can we even imagine how much power is there in the Gita which came from the mouth of the Lord himself? So when that Shastra is available to us, do we really need any other Shastra? No. That is why so much importance is there for studying the Bhagavad Gita. Then there is another thing which talks about the 4 gakaras. Now we are all in this modern world where we want to be very fast, right? We've moved from 3G to 4G. So in spirituality too, in Adhyatma too, there is a 4G connection. Let us check whether we have these 4 Gs in our life. Gita, Ganga cha Gayatri, Govindeti Hridhi Sthite, Chaturgakara Samyuktaha, Punarjanma na Vidyate. The one who has these 4 gakaras in his heart. What are these 4 gakaras? Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, and Govinda. For such a person who has these 4 things beginning with the Ga Shabda, there is no Punarjanma, there is no rebirth for such a person. Out of these 4 things also, Gita is the first. Ganga we already talked about. When we say Gayatri, then Gayatri, for those who are eligible to chant the Gayatri mantra, for those who are having the Yajnopavita and who are eligible to chant the Gayatri mantra in the prescribed manner, they will do it. For the rest of us, it is nothing but Nama Japa of the Nama which has been given to us by the Guru, or the name of our Ishta Devata or our Kula Devata. So a mantra, a name of the Lord that we are chanting. And Govinda, thinking always of the Lord, speaking always about him, remembering him in our mind. So if we are able to have these 4 things in our life, right, then there is a 5th G that we will find. We may not have a guru right now, but if we do a study of the Bhagavad Gita, if we imagine every day when we are having bath that we are dipping in the Ganga, or if we actually physically visit the Ganga and take a dip in her, if we constantly keep chanting the Lord's name, and if we keep always remembering the Lord and his names, then with these 4 Gs, we will go on to the 5G level. That is, we will be able to get access to a guru. A guru will come into our life who will guide us ahead. So we must try and cultivate this 4G connection, out of which what we are doing now is to try and take the first G out of it. That is Bhagavad Gita. Why must we study this Gita? What is the importance of this? Now, there is a very well-known Acharya, the Guru, the Acharya of Swami Ramanujacharya, who was called as Yamunacharya. He was also known as Alavantar. So Yamunacharya has written a text called as the Gitartha Sangraha, in which he gives a very beautiful summary of what all is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, in that, one of the shlokas says, Swadharma Jnana Vairagya Sadhya Bhaktyaika Gocharaha Narayana Param Brahma Gita Shastre Samiritaha. All these things are what we learn from the Gita Shastra. The one who performs his duty, Swadharma, one who does his duty, with jnana, with knowledge regarding himself as well as his master, the Lord, with vairagya, that means without any desire. Such a person who performs the duty with full knowledge, without any desire, this person will reach the stage of practicing Bhakti Yoga. And through that Bhakti, one can please Lord Narayana and reach him. So this is about what the Gita tells us. Now, if we look at what was the setting for the Bhagavad Gita, where was it told? It was told on the battlefield, isn't it? It was not told in one secluded cave in the Himalayan mountains, or it was not told by the side of an ashrama, by the side of a river, somewhere in a peaceful environment. It was told on the battlefield where there is so much klesha, so much discord, there is so much chaos going around. So what does that signify? That even in our life, we are not always in a situation where we are quiet and calm and everything nice is going on, isn't it? There are conflicts in our life too. And in the middle of that conflict, the Gita was told by Krishna to Arjuna. What was Arjuna's state of mind when he was told that? Why did the Bhagavad Gita come actually? because Arjuna was in a state of confusion, because Arjuna didn't know what to do next. And in that conflicted state, when he begged Krishna for help, then it was that Krishna gave him the knowledge through the Bhagavad Gita. Then it was that Krishna guided Arjuna about what to do, what is the path that he should be following. So also in our life, when we have so much conflict, we have so much confusion, this Bhagavad Gita will act as a guiding light for us. And by studying it, by trying to adopt the principles of the Gita in our life, we will be able to find our way ahead. In this life, as long as we live here, what is the karma that we should be doing? What are the actions that we should be doing? What is the knowledge with which we should perform these actions? Only doing action is not going to lead us ahead, but doing action with the right spirit, doing action with the right attitude, that will take us ahead. Doing action with the awareness that why am I doing this? For whom am I doing this? And what is the purpose of doing this? That is what will lead us ahead. So this knowledge of the karma and the jnana is what will be taught to us through the Gita. That will help us to live a better life in this world. Because for us, bhakti is not something that comes naturally, but actions are things that we keep doing. So to make us aware of that, how we can do that in such a way that we lead a better life. That is what the Gita will give us. Moreover, what to do for a better outcome in the life beyond this world, how to perform bhakti, how to do everything as an offering to God, that also will be taught to us through the Bhagavad Gita. So when this combination is there, it is going to make us, live our life in a better way, not only in this world, but also in the world beyond. Many times people ask that by studying Bhagavad Gita, by learning Bhagavad Gita, what is going to be the big advantage? Is it that my problems will go away? No, definitely your problems will not go away. But then we need to look deeper at what is the cause of all our problems. What is the source of all the problems? But whether it is my personal problems or it is a problem we face as a society, whatever it may be, these problems, where do they arise from? They arise from the same six, doshas that we have, the six foes, the six enemies of our Atma, the Shad Ripu as we call them. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Any problem you take in this world will ultimately be sourced to one of these six, isn't it? So if we study the Bhagavad Gita, if we try to adopt the teachings of the Gita in our life, what is going to happen? We will not be able to correct other people, but whatever problems are arising from us because of our doshas, that we will start, to tackle those. So when the Shadripu within me are the cause of the problems, then if I learn to correct myself, if I learn to grow to be a better person by overcoming these doshas, then I will be able to, go beyond those problems. Either I will develop the ability to not get into that problem, or I will develop the ability to deal with that problem, or I will develop the ability to, stay unaffected by that problem. Either way, it is not that the Bhagavad Gita will take away your problems, but if you let the Bhagavad Gita's teachings permeate into your life and you start acting as per the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, then definitely our problems will reduce. It is said once, it seems, I heard this anecdote somewhere. Somebody told, when you may have heard of Swami Chinmayananda. So he was asking and telling people that, we must read the Bhagavad Gita, we must go through those teachings and all that. There was one person who said, I have gone through the Bhagavad Gita many times. So Swamiji stopped him and said, okay, fine, you have gone through the Bhagavad Gita many times. How many times has the Bhagavad Gita gone through you? That is something we must think about. We may read the Bhagavad Gita, but does the Bhagavad Gita penetrate and does it start shaping our actions? That should be our goal. And ultimately, what is the underlying concept that the Gita tries to teach us? Through the different chapters, through the different areas that it talks about, the ability to see all as equal, the ability to see that everybody is an Atma, every living being is an Atma, that the same Atma who is there in me is there in the others too. That Samadarshanam, the ability to look at everybody in an equal way, not seeing somebody as rich and poor, tall and short, fat and thin, good and bad, mine and not mine. That ability will come, or it should come to us as we start studying the Bhagavad Gita. That is our ultimate goal. So when we are now commencing the study of the Bhagavad Gita, our intention should be this, that we are going to try and understand what the Lord has told. We are going to try and adopt those teachings in our life so that we can make our life better, so that we can better ourselves, so that we can stop being a source of problem to other people, so that we are able to see everybody as equal, so that we are able to be kind to everybody. And when all these doshas in us start reducing, that is the path for spiritual progress. We may have read the Bhagavad Gita many times, we may hear spiritual lectures many times, and we do some amount of sadhana. And yet, because we are caught up in this world, it is very difficult for us to, get out of it, to stay detached from it. Our karmas are such, they keep pulling us back. There is a story I heard Sri Karunakaracharya narrating. This is the story, it highlights our predicament also. During the Kurukshetra Yuddha, we know how Abhimanyu was killed very ruthlessly against the rules of Dharma. Now, after Abhimanyu's death, everybody was grieving and they were all very bad. Now, you must remember that the Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna before the starting of the Yuddha, right? So, during the course of, after the Bhagavad Gita was told to him, then he decided, yes, I will stand up and fight, he says, as per Krishna's wish. And during the Yuddha, as it proceeded, Abhimanyu was killed in that wrong manner. So everybody was grieving and Arjuna was totally shattered and he kept on grieving for such a long time. Then finally, after some time, Krishna came and sat next to Arjuna. And Krishna started wailing, weeping very inconsolable. So Arjuna was surprised. He said, Krishna, what happened? You were okay all this time. Now, why are you crying like this? So Krishna says, no, I told you Bhagavad Gita. I told you that you must not be affected by good and bad that happens in this world. I told you that the Atma is eternal and only the body dies. How much I told you. And still, forgetting all that, you have again, started identifying with the body. And you are grieving so inconsolably on Abhimanyu's death instead of standing up and just doing your duty. So, such was the condition of Arjuna. He was in the Sanidhya of Krishna. He had the Bhagavad Gita explained to him by Sakshat Lord Krishna himself. He was such a great exalted soul. He was just not normal, ordinary person like us. He had such great capabilities. And yet, he was again caught up in that web. If Arjuna's condition was like that, what will be our condition? We are not any great exalted souls. We are not having any great talent and qualities like Arjuna. We are just normal people in this Kali Yuga that at least was during the Dwapar Yuga. We are in this Kali Yuga. So you can imagine our condition. Today we listen to one lecture, we listen to some teaching and we feel, yes, this is what I should be doing. But the very next moment we would have forgotten that and again got up, got out of the same, got out of that mood which was induced by the lecture and we would have gone back to our regular thing. So we must keep reminding ourselves, we must keep studying the Gita again and again with this attitude that we want to improve and we want to better ourselves by studying it. So with this, I have come to the end of whatever I wanted to say. We have about 9 minutes left. So if anybody has any questions, we can take that. We will right now offer Kritagnyata, and after that we will take up the questions. In case the session gets cut when people are still asking, then we will join back again immediately and we can continue with that. So let us offer Kritagnyata and gratitude at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Guru for inspiring us to start and to join this satsang. Let us pray for their blessings and grace to always be on us. Namaskar. So if anybody has anything to say, you want to share something, or you want to make a comment, or you want to ask a question, you are most welcome to unmute and ask.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Namaste. Shobha Avrella.
Hi, yes, ma'am. You were talking about the four G's, such as Ganga, then Gayatri. What is the connection between the Gayatri mantra and Bhagavad Gita?
No, I was not talking that there is a connection between them. What I was trying to say is these are the four ga, like they are all these words are starting with the ga word, ga sound, isn't it? The alphabet ga. So Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, and Govinda. If we keep these four in our life, then we don't have to be born again. There is no punarjanma for us, because all of them are capable of purifying us to such an extent that all our karma will get destroyed. And when there is no more karma left for us to undergo, then we will not be born again. We will have moksha. We will not come back to this world in this human form again. That is what I was trying to convey.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Please feel free to say whatever you want to, whoever anybody wants to, because this satsang, this journey is going to be about, trying to understand, trying to learn, trying to adopt in our life. I am not a scholar to be able to give a very scholarly discourse. And we know that it is the science of practice, this adhyatma. So unless we practice in our life and we look at the practical aspects, it is not going to be of much value, because there's so much that we have learned verbally all these years. And all the knowledge is there in us, but how we use it in our life is what is going to be important.
Ma'am, I have a question. How do you have all these four in our life? I mean, Gita, Bhagavad Gita, okay, now we are we are talking about it, listening to it and all.
Yeah.
Ganga, I mean, having it in our life, how do you have it in your life?
Okay. Having Ganga in our life, we can do a Tirtha Yatra to Ganga Kshetra. We can go to Haridwar, Rishikesh, Varanasi, Alaknanda, the source of the Ganga. We can try to do that. That is one thing. If we are fortunate enough to be living where the Ganga flows, then we can take a dip in the Ganga every day or whenever possible. If not, at least we can plan for once or twice sometime in our life. But I think if you are aware, it is told that every morning when we have a bath, then we should invoke the rivers into the water, right? There is a shloka which is to be chanted, which says, Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalaismin Sannidhin Kuru. So we are invoking that all these nadis, all these punya nadis, all of them, the waters of those punya nadis should come into the water with which I am bathing, and let it purify me. So if we do that, that memory of the Ganga will also purify us. Then there are some people who keep Ganga Jal in their homes, isn't it? I think if you have visited any kshetra on the Ganga, they sell these small kalasha-like things, the small Ganga Jal containers. So if we bring and keep that in our house, and we can sip a little of that every day, or we can add a few drops of that into our bathing water, that also is a good way of keeping connection with the Ganga. Does that answer your question, Zarnaji?
No, that is, yeah, it does answer. And Gayatri mantra, we
Gayatri,
should chant every.
Gayatri mantra, as I said, actually Gayatri mantra is a very powerful mantra which is of the Teja Tattva. So it creates a lot of energy, and not everybody should chant the Gayatri mantra. So actually it is told, in fact, the ladies should not chant Gayatri mantra because it has a negative effect on the reproductive system. And even among the men, the people who have been given that Gayatri mantra, as a mantra, it has been upadesh of that mantra has been done to them by their guru, then only they should be chanting the Gayatri mantra. So as I said, the implied meaning is that Gayatri mantra is mantra of which worships Devi Gayatri. So in our life, from our point of view, if we look at it, some name of God, right? That we should keep chanting. So chanting any mantra, chanting our, if we have guru, then guru mantra, or doing nam jap of our kula devata, or nam jap of our ishta devata. That is the equivalent of Gayatri mantra for us.
So now if I've told my kid, you should do that, because I don't know, I mean, I've heard people telling Gayatri mantra is good. So I used to teach her, and every day I would tell her, now you have to say Gayatri mantra. So now I should tell her.
How many times does she say that?
Maybe once or twice a day.
That is okay. Saying once or twice is not a problem.
It was just, I mean, innocent. I didn't know. And,
that's fine. That is fine. Saying once or twice is not going to cause any problem. I'm saying that when we talk about chanting, we are saying that we must do constantly Nam Jap, right? So that way we must not chant 108 times or chant continuously all the time in our mind. That is not required. Once in the morning when you stand in front of God and she's going to say it, if she's saying it, fine. But maybe from now on, you can teach her some other shlokas, some other mantra that she can recite.
Thank you for the, I mean, I didn't know. Unknowingly, I was teaching the wrong thing.
That's okay. That's okay. When we do something without knowing it, it doesn't really affect us. That's fine. But now that you know, you can follow this.
Yeah, ma'am, same thing for us also. We were doing it. And what I understand is Gayatri mantra is a long mantra, but we were only reciting the first 2 lines.
Okay.
So we were doing it like during the Aarti, evening Aarti and all. So maybe from now we will stop it.
And I don't really know, whenever there is a mantra, there is a, the entire mantra, when it is said only, it has that effect, what it is supposed to have, isn't it? So reciting part of it also may not be actually in any way fetching any result. So rather than doing it that way, and considering this point that I have told, it is better you avoid it. That would be better.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So from next time when we do our satsang, we will take up each shloka. Today was the introduction. So I just wanted to give an overall picture of how important Bhagavad Gita is, and what should be our spirit in studying the Bhagavad Gita. So I hope I have conveyed that. And from next time, we will take up each shloka and we will go ahead with that. We have less than 1 minute left. Is there anybody who wants to ask something? We can take the question and we can rejoin.
Yeah, ma'am. One more question. So we have many mantras, right? Like Ram Nam. Sometimes we do Om Namo Narayana. Then we sometimes do Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. So how are they different, and how are they going to affect us differently? Or is it just any mantra will do? We should chant in any situation.
Okay. That is a long detailed answer. So we will do one thing. We will, this meeting is going to end now. So we will join back again. Those who want the answer to this question can all join back again. If you have other commitments and you're busy, it's okay if you don't join back also. So we'll just get in again into the same. Please click the same link and come back